So it's time to talk about DGR 2.0, my setup as it is now. As you can see in front of us, we've got ourselves a lovely CRT television. This is a Sony Trinitron 28-inch widescreen Trinitron television. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have gone for the normal 4x3 28-inch TV, but this one was ridiculously cheap. It was also local to me, so I had to pick this up. In fact, I actually decided to get a CRT television after going to a retro gaming event. I went to Reload, Relive, Replay with Mike and his brother Matt. And I remember saying at the time to Matt, I'm going to get a CRT. Because playing some of those retro systems with the CRTs they had set up, it looked absolutely fantastic, and it also felt fantastic and felt pretty good as well. And it's not just a placebo effect. I've tried all sorts of things with my setup, as you're going to see in a moment. So this is the CRT. The sound isn't coming out of the CRT, the sound is coming out of my sound bar, and that will become obvious as to why that's the case at the moment. But as you can see, if you look at the top, we've got the Bandridge switch box, which has got retro machines rigged up to it. My RGB NES, the NES RGB modded NES. We've got the Super Famicom, which is playing Street Fighter 2. We've got the Sega Tower of Power. You can probably just about make out the 32X at the top there with the Mega Drive and the Mega CD. I'm going to try and bring you guys down a touch. And if you see down the bottom there, we've got the PlayStation top left. It's over there. The Japanese Sega Saturn. The Xbox, Crystal Xbox that's modded to the eyeballs. That's got the Executor 2.3B mod chip inside it. And also my RGB modded N64. And just stored underneath is the 5552 mod chipped PlayStation. To the right, sort of stood over to the right there, is my Amiga 500 Plus. And to the left here, just down the bottom, there's the PlayStation 2. I've also got a different retro gaming PC that you might notice over there in the corner. That's actually my family's old PC from sort of circa 2002. I'm using that as the basis for my retro gaming PC these days rather than the Dell machine, simply because I've got more scope to upgrade and chop and change the hardware as I see fit with that one. This will be tricky, but if I spin you around, you can see got Dreamcast down there, which occasionally I do bring over to the retro setup and plug into the CRT using RGB SCART. We've got the RGB modded Famicom, which again occasionally I use with the CRT. The 360, which obviously is rigged up to my 4K OLED LG television, which is a new addition to this room. Replaces the Sony 4K LED that I had near before, that I had nothing but issues with. You notice I've got all my Super Nintendo cartridges down the bottom there with the Super Game Boy at the end as well. On top we've got the Sega Master System Model 2. This one has Sonic built into it and is RGB modded. That's all there is done with that one. I'm still kind of umming and ahhing whether to sell that because I've got another one that's got Alex Kidd built into it, which is RGB modded that I did. And also has got 50 to 60 Hz switching. Got a PS3 Slim that I picked up not too long ago that's got custom firmware installed and is all modded up, and it's got a 500GB external hard disk connected to it, as well as a 500GB hard disk internal. There is the FrameMeister, which I'm still going to be using for capturing game footage and streaming, because you'll see how I've got this set up in a moment. You see it's connected by a SCART to something. And there is my PS4 Pro. The PC is just tucked away in the corner there, just behind the CRT, as is my gaming rig, but mostly video editing rig nowadays, because I don't generally get much chance to play PC games. I barely get much chance to play retro games, as it is. So if I take a step back, it's all going to become very obvious now as to why I've still got the FrameMeister set up and everything. Look at that. Look at that. OLED up there on the wall. Street Fighter 2 playing. CRT, Street Fighter 2 playing on the Super Famicom. It's being split, the RGB signal is being split between the CRT and the FrameMeister with the OLED television attached to it, which is awesome. I've turned the TV sound down, the CRT's TV sound down, and all the sound is coming out the soundbar at the moment. This will be great for streaming. It means I can use the CRT to play the game and rig up the HDMI connection from the FrameMeister to my capture device for streaming all the video online for you guys. And yeah, really that's the setup. So The reason I've gone for CRT, the reason I really wanted to get a CRT, is because I am now definitely of the belief that the best way to play these older games, these older systems, if you want the real hardware like I do, you need a CRT. It's as simple as that. There is a difference. Input lag is definitely a thing. I know there's people that will say it's negligible, you won't notice it. I do notice it. I've run tests using the 240p test suite lag test as well, with the iPhone's camera running in the slow-mo mode, so you can really see what's going on. And you can just see how far behind the OLED with the FrameMeister is compared to the CRT. Games feel snappy as well. When you're pressing jump buttons, fire buttons in games, they feel much more snappy on the CRT. I think it makes a big difference. So for me, all my retro gaming now is done on that CRT, and why not? Originally I was quite happy with the FrameMeister and using a modern day display, but since being bitten by the CRT bug, I had to get a CRT. I just had to. This is definitely the best way to experience retro games if you're an enthusiast like myself and you've got real hardware. I would definitely recommend it. Obviously, emulation for the guys that aren't really bothered about having hardware. Although, yeah, thanks to Nintendo and some things that have been going on recently, getting ROMs for your emulators is going to become more and more difficult, because I actually said it a long time ago in a video that I did, that I saw ROMs and everything as being a grey area legally, and here we are, Nintendo going after these ROM sites. I had a feeling something like that would happen. Didn't know it was going to be Nintendo and didn't know when, but I had a feeling one day something like that would happen. So if I just show you a little bit more around what I've got in this room, because I didn't do a room tour at the end of 2017. Got some NES games, Famicom, some Game Boy games, as well as Game Boy Color, PS3 and PS4. Above that, we've got a Jordan PlayStation steering wheel, which I actually had one of these as a kid back in the sort of late 90s with my original PlayStation. Inside here is the Derby Stallion limited edition Sega Saturn. I've got a Jaguar. Yes, I've got an Atari Jaguar inside that box. It's in awesome condition. The wife got it for me for Christmas in 2017. I've got the NES Classic and the Super NES Classic, and some Jaguar games. You've got Doom, Alien vs Predator, and the Trevor McFur game, the Shmup, for the Jaguar, which is a pretty good game. Over here at the moment, I'm sort of in the process of creating a bit of a display. You can see that DualShock 3 up on the acrylic stand there. This will all become much clearer very soon, and let's just say the 20th anniversary PS4 is relevant to that as well, but you'll find out later. Game Gear, Famicom and an Atari 2600 box, plus a Super Mario Brothers question mark block. Mega CD games, Game Gear games, Japanese Sega Saturn games, which are now going onto another layer of the shelf. You can see I'm having to double stack, and the Virtua Fighter Stick, the arcade stick. Got Sega Master System games, as well as some Guinness World Record Gamers editions. Some PS Vita games that you might just be able to see down there. PSP games, including some that Mike's brother Matt kindly gave to me, with the PS1 sat on top. That one's the mod-chipped PS1. And some Sega Dreamcast games that run all along the bottom of the shelf there. There's quite a lot of them there. Just try and adjust the light a little bit for you. And I'll take you around to the other side of the room now, because I've got a bit of a display going on up here, but that's going to be reviewed. I'm going to make some changes to that because I'm not overly happy with the display. We've got some European Saturn games, Mega Drive games, the Jog-Con controller from Namco, the PS1, the boxed and complete PS1, Mega CD box, Mega Drive notebook, Dreamcast and Saturn notebooks, Only Fools and Horses money box, and basically the PlayStation game collection. Before, I was pretty much getting close to maxing out just that shelf there. Well, you can see what's happened now. My PlayStation collection has grown massively. It's now on 2 shelves, or starting to get onto the second shelf over there. I'm going to be doing some more videos soon, because there's a couple of things I want to show you from the collection over here, PS2 related, and I'll show you those in a future video. So guys, I hope this video has been interesting to watch, so you can see what I've been doing and what's happening with my setup. I'm still here. I might have stopped making videos for a little while, but you know, it's just one of them things. Life happens, things get in the way, especially when you work full-time like I do and you do a lot of travelling around as part of your job. it can get quite tiring, but there you go. This is my gaming setup. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you again soon.